Hey, this is Mike from JTS. I'm going to go over how to take your JTS AK12 shotgun apart. We want to be able to do this, to be able to clean it, to do maintenance, being able to check it. And basically, it's a really good idea for you to be able to know how to be able to service your weapon, how to be able to take it apart, and then, of course, even more importantly, how to put it back together. But we'll do another video on that. So before we begin on taking this weapon apart, we want to make sure that we keep in mind the most paramount thing anytime we're doing anything with a firearm, and that is safety. So the first thing I'm going to look at before I touch this weapon is I'm going to look and see where that muzzle is pointed. I always want to make sure that that barrel is pointed in the safest direction I have available to me. So, and as we pick up and manipulate this weapon, we're going to continue to have that barrel pointed in the safest direction. Now, before we do anything else with the weapon, we want to make sure that we clear it so that we're not working with a loaded weapon. We want to make sure that the weapon is unloaded. So we want to make sure to check it. Anytime you're doing cleaning, maintenance, anything like that, there shouldn't be any ammunition around you. You really want to do this in a place where you have no ammo. Really want to mitigate as much as we possibly can any kind of accidents that happen. It is really one of the most dangerous things that people do with their weapon is clean them, right? A lot of accidents happen when people are cleaning their weapons, and that's because they don't properly clear them first. So we're going to make sure we follow that process. Weapon is pointed in the safest direction possible. As we pick the weapon up, we want to make sure we don't have a magazine in here. If we had the magazine in, we would take that out. We want to pull this back to check that chamber, and we're going to make sure that we look inside the chamber there. We're going to look directly at it. There's a nice close-up picture of it, and we're going to make sure that that weapon is cleared. Once we know it's cleared, we're going to go ahead, drop that bolt back in place, and pull the trigger. Now we know we have an unloaded weapon that is safe for us to work with and manipulate and to go ahead and take it apart. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this dust cover off. And what we need to do, and follow along with the pictures, you can see right here on this back area, we're going to push that little plunger down and push it in. It takes apart very similar to an AK. So if you've taken an AK apart, this isn't going to hold a ton of surprises for you. So we're going to go ahead and pull that up. And now to be able to remove this spring, we're going to have to kind of push it forward, pop it up, and let it come back. This is under some tension, so you want to make sure you control it. Otherwise, you're going to go chasing your parts across the room. We're going to go ahead and remove that spring. And then we're going to take the bolt and we're going to slide it all the way back. And we'll go ahead and pull that bolt out. For a lot of cleanings, this might be as far as you ever actually need to go, right? Because you can get to the barrel. Keep in mind, this weapon does have a chrome line barrel. They tend to stay pretty clean. But the other important part of this weapon is this gas port. And so we're going to want to clean that and make sure that that is clear. Because this gas port is really going to be, it is one of the things that really separates the JTS, is that you have this on-the-fly ability to change the amount of gas pressure that is pushing that bolt back. But if that gets dirty or clogged up, your weapon is going to have some problems because it limits the amount of gas coming back to work that bolt, and your weapon won't function. So to go ahead and remove that, we are going to flip this switch right here. And there's a nice close-up photo of it, of what it looks like when it is in the proper position. And we want to have it up like this. So again, we'll go ahead and look at that picture one more time so you make sure you understand where that needs to be able to remove this section of the weapon. And with that lifted up, this is just going to pull right out. It's actually pretty simple to do. And we're going to reach in here and I'm going to pull out that cylinder right there. And again, we want to make sure that these parts, that this is clean in here, that this gas vent is clean, right? And so we want to make sure that's going to make sure that our weapon continues to operate at peak level. Obviously, we can break this weapon down a little bit more. We can start taking off foregrips. We can do a lot of other stuff. But for basic maintenance, this is really about as far as you're ever going to need to go. If you're going to go any further than this, you're going to start to get into some armor work, and that's going to be a different video.